to deliver us from evil. Amen. This is dragging a bit, innit? You know what? Where's Sheila today? Yeah, she said she's at the football. Wait, the football? Well, let's hope she doesn't stray too far from the hand of God. Hey, girls. Go back to praying. Shut up, I'm not even religious. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This is of course the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. What's been kicking off in the world this week? Well lads, it's spooky season. Yes, that's right everyone, the only thing scarier to a boxing judge than choosing the right winner.
I think you're a tosser.
And the world of football has embraced the holiday. Mario Icardi's giving out the treats. I'd have more for you, but Wanda stole the kids, that little I'm fine. It's just, listen, can I just get a Mars bar, please? I've got a throwback to a classic here for a Kurt Zuma outfit, but the scariest outfit of them all being a United defender. Boo! What have I told you about wearing shin pads to bed, Diogo? Manchester City came out on top, pause, of a pulsating, pause, Manchester derby, battering the Red Devils 3-0. Erling Haaland was the star of the show here with a brace and an assist. Leaving him unmarked at the back post is a crime against humanity. Poor United defenders, man. The likes of Evans and co didn't stand a chance. Victor Lindelof was feeling it at full time.
How was that?
The clocks went back, but honestly, United could go back an hour in this one and they still wouldn't have scored 3. Alright, guys, so it's now no longer the 90th minute, it's the 30th minute, but still 3-0. No, please. Jadon Sancho was at home, loving this result, and this was the battle of the ball. 2 men that could apply face cream to the top of their skull. A triple XL bully surface area forward. But a certain Norwegian was giving United a headache, and not that one.
There might not be any hope for me again.
Haaland brought out the Rashford celebration, and Marcus probably thanked him for it on Instagram. Meanwhile, Erik ten Hag got a surefire answer when asked if a 43-year-old Johnny Evans could carry him to victory.
I'm not Harry Potter, so and it's.
The Rock dressed as David Beckham for Halloween. Can he save them? Oh my goodness!
It's not looking good, Bev.
Sofiane Amrabat isn't doing too much better though, to be honest with you. His highlights off the bench weren't looking great. Meanwhile, Anthony was letting the anger get the best of him, kicking out at Jeremy Doku right towards the end. Violent United wingers. Where have I heard that one before? Doku fired back with this tweet telling him to calm down and that Manchester was blue. It's a shithousery award for the Belgian winger, who firmly wins this debate. Talking of United wingers, and Alejandro Garnacho was distracted dressing up for Halloween, but abandoning your baby on the floor like that is, I don't know why it's so funny. Garnacho Jr. here doing his best Marcus Rashford impression.
Yeah, it's on your neck.
Now, I'm going to give United's woes a break here.
Yes! No!
Because it's about time we talked about the Ballon d'Or, where Lionel Messi won an incredible 8th golden ball. But what he wasn't winning was the Ballon trim. This is an absolute state. What was the barber doing halfway through the cut?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, that's class. Cheers, mate. Yeah. Kylian Mbappe's lost to a man with no skin face and was getting PTSD when shown Emi Martinez's save from the World Cup on the big screen. It is pretty poetic for him to win it in Paris. PSG resident Kylian Mbappe was feeling aggrieved afterwards.
If I won, it's a mockery for the sport. It's how they see it. I've won it, bro. I won it. I got robbed. It's outrageous, bro.
Meanwhile, Erling Haaland was left fuming after scoring 168 goals for Man City and only finishing 2nd.
It's so disrespectful to the establishment.
One other man not happy will have been Cristiano Ronaldo, and your Ballon d'Or winner, making him the greatest of all time, Lionel Growth Hormones Messi.
Where am I? What was that? Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
He left a comment on an Instagram post talking about Leo's 8 Ballon d'Ors that didn't seem remotely salty whatsoever, and Leo himself was there in the replies to put him in his place. Big Ron wasn't impressed with his son, finding him watching the ceremony back at home. Meanwhile, French Snapchat always delivers, tricking Speed into thinking his Sui-related hero was there.
Oh my god, Ronaldo, Cristiano. No.
Talking of Speed, and well, he made the headlines for being in attendance here for the Ballon d'Or. His reaction to Leo winning was truly something.
Bro, what? Ain't no way, bro. Hey, man, what? Now Ronaldo, bro, what?
Meanwhile, he had his say with World Cup winning and Yashin Trophy winning goalkeeper Emi Martinez.
Hey, bro, nice to meet you, bro. You know what I'm saying? But
Ronaldo for life, man.
No chance.
Truthfully, Lionel Messi's bodyguard will have been showing him no mercy, escorting him off the premises. Meanwhile, the rest of the rankings were interesting reading. Andre Onana in the top 25. Seems a little bit out of place given his start at United. Meanwhile, his Red Devils teammate Harry Maguire was really far down. Copper Trophy winner and golden boy Jude Bellingham might be doing everything there is to do in La Liga, but he can't do his tie properly. Right now, put your arms up, son. Not like that. That's not what I meant. A lot of people were claiming Lionel Messi didn't deserve to win, given Erling Haaland's individual goal-scoring tally. But at the end of the day, he did inspire his side to a World Cup win, and we all know that it's heavily weighted towards a World Cup, even if he has only won the quarter-pounder invitational since going to America. But Leo himself doesn't care about all those question marks.
Everybody wants to know what I would do if I didn't win. I guess we'll never know.
Anyway, back to the task at hand.
Fuck! Shit!
United lost 3-0 at Old Trafford for a second time this week, being knocked out of the Carabao Cup by a second-string Newcastle. Eric, 10 shots for the other team. There were sacked in the morning chants coming from Newcastle's own. Meanwhile, United supporters won't be feeling too positive about the situation on Halloween either. Imagine a poor granddad who can't remember asking his youngest if Sir Alex is still there. Jurgen Klopp couldn't contain his reaction when he heard the scoreline. Ooh. And trust me, that says a lot. He's had to deal with Reece Williams and Nat Phillips at the back. Newcastle tweeted out that the attendance at Old Trafford was 72,000, though considerably less now at the end of the game, given they were losing 3-0. It's a shithousery award for the Geordies. Andre Onana didn't really help himself for the first goal. This brother thinks he's Jude Bellingham. You can't put your arms out in the air to celebrate as a goalkeeper. You actually need those. It's Halloween. You can't scare the ball away, though, mate. Fair to say that he was pretty distracted as this ball flew past him. Though apparently United are investigating an issue with Adidas about players suffering with socks that are too tight and Onana having to wear a replica shirt. This is the Andre Onana we'd actually get if he wasn't wearing a replica. Maybe if Adidas could investigate the ball only going into their own net, they'd have a bit more joy. Now, over in Spain, and things are looking much better for Jude Bellingham, as he scored yet another late winner in El Clasico v Barcelona. Now, obviously, you know what we had to do to him. We actually put an Olympic-sized swimming pool in the back of your car. How the fuck am I meant to have a swim and drive at the same time? But we also changed out the pedals to make them better. Your new clutch, Jude Bellingham. The rest of the pedals, probably Camavinga, to be honest with you. Now, this was an extremely dramatic finish. After an Ilkay Gundogan opener for Barcelona, Jude Bellingham then brought out a screamer to equalise from distance. Not that it got a reaction from Toni Kroos. An undercover Real Madrid fan was loving life at this point, only for him to then score late on again in the 90th minute and bring out his classic celebration. Honestly, Birmingham should have retired all of their numbers at this point, I can't lie. One Twitter user claimed he wasn't even that good back when they faced each other in their academy days.
You're the best at the whole club, including the first team. I was only 15 at the time.
His Tesco co-cashier, he's not gonna believe him when this kid claims he pocketed him back in the Birmingham academy.
Do you think you could spare us the bullshit for 1 minute?
Meanwhile, after attempting to antagonise the crowd getting verbal abuse from Barcelona fans, Carlo Ancelotti had to intervene with Vinny Jr. Why does he look like a parent dragging his lost child away from aisle 4? So listen, right, I was out in Brazil playing for Palmeiras' A team aged 11. Obviously, Barcelona was sponsored by the Rolling Stones for this game, having their logo on their shirt, to which Aurelien Tchouameni took the opportunity to take the piss on Twitter, with Jude Bellingham taking it one step further with an Abbey Road edit. I mean, wrong band, but I respect the effort. To be fair though to Barcelona, their list of suspended and injured players that were watching on in the crowd would be enough for anybody to lose El Clasico. I mean, that's more than your average Saudi Arabian attendance. Their club physio's not seen his wife in 3 weeks. Yeah, babe, sorry, I'm just really rubbing this one out. Excuse me, Jeremy? Yeah, things are just getting a little bit tight over here. Let me just get the oil out. Oh, are you cheating on me? Jeremy, you come back to this house right now. No can do. Sorry, Sharon, I'm busy. Right, sorry, let's flip you over and I can go from the back. Now, Chelsea have been struggling with injuries too this season. The problem for them is they're all so shit.
Fuck Chelsea, pussy, or what? Say something.
The Blues returned to disappointing results, unfortunately for them, after a 2-0 defeat to fellow West Londoners Brentford. The Bees now have more wins at Stamford Bridge in the last 7 months than Chelsea do. Do you understand how mad that is? It's actually their home stadium now instead. One advertising board said you can't beat this Chelsea. Well, I mean, these lot were poor today, especially after showing so much promise against Arsenal. It was Axel Disaster, not Axel Dizazi. Nicholas Jackson's highlights weren't too great. Reece James will be ready to re-injure himself to avoid any more game time. Out of context, Chelsea is going crazy right here as Brian Mbermo scored, and Neil Maupay, who set up that second goal, managed to get Robert Sanchez a shirt and posted it on Insta. Back in the Carabao Cup, and Arsenal saw a shock exit at the hands of West Ham, 3-1, hammered by the Hammers. Ben White's highlights aren't great, and not just the ones in his hair.
Bitch, I'm the butt.
After scoring an own goal here to put West Ham ahead, Arsenal were 1-0 down versus a side that had no shots at all. Though to be honest, Aaron Ramsdale got knocked to the floor. Clearly they can't afford VAR in the Carabao Cup. Didn't stop David Raya giving his support down from the bench. Declan Rice, of course, returned to his former side here and was booed by a section of fans just before conceding a third goal. Though in fairness, there is no shame in losing to the champions of Europe. Not that that helped their superfan feel any better. How the fuck is he actually here again? Darwin Nunez was Darwin Nunez personified this week in the Europa League, providing a world-class pass off the post despite having an empty net to throw it in, seeing Ryan Gravenberch in the post reflection to set up a goal whilst knee sliding already. Honestly, I'm not even gonna chat shit. The best trait this guy has is that he doesn't even know what he's gonna do next. And then against Bournemouth in the Carabao Cup, he scored an absolute screamer, set up by a terrible touch that saw Bournemouth fans making fun of him, then shimmying and slapping it into the top corner. There has been more serious news going on at Liverpool so far this week, and that comes in the form of Luis Diaz, whose parents were actually kidnapped earlier on in the last 7 days. Now, his mum was released, but there was no word about his father. Since then, a Colombian rebel group by the name of ELN have confirmed they were responsible, but didn't actually know that men in their organisation had taken him. How do you not know that you've kidnapped someone? Can someone please explain that? Either way, hopefully these reports are true, and this nightmare of a situation for Luis is rectified, with his father returning home safely. Now, at Everton, and their new stadium is already being built, and by God, what the fuck are these stairs? Are we mountain goats, mate? Imagine poor 94-year-old Terrence trying to survive a last-minute winner here. How's Eric Dyer gonna walk up these when he needs to scrap a family member? I don't think you want to encourage Everton fans with high things when they're 4-0 down to Brentford at home. Newcastle midfielder Sandro Tonali has now officially been banned for 10 months, but he will be a big miss for the Magpies, who tweeted not too long ago making fun of claims that he didn't want to be there. Well, he doesn't have to be there anymore. Trent Alexander-Arnold was trying to get away from one fan filming him this week. There's no way he's actually on a call on the phone. This man's calling his calculator. Hello, you've reached the police. Get this done out of here. I'm being followed, alright? So you don't need to be harassing Trent like this. Let him Snapchat in peace. Now, before Chelsea and Arsenal's fixture a few weeks ago, Alexander Zinchenko said he would rip Mykhailo Mudrik's balls off if he scored against them. Mykhailo, of course, then lobbed David Raya and is now out injured. Coincidence? I think not. Arsenal's Eddie Nketiah had a great day against Sheffield United, scoring his first Premier League hat-trick. And if you wipe your eyes and look very closely, you'll see that he's transformed himself now.
I can see what they're doing, what he's doing. He's cooking.
Ansu Fati's clearly been to South London for the first time this week and used that as his inspiration for Halloween. West Ham's team bus accidentally wiped out a security guard when driving through a fence. And then to add insult to injury, West Ham then lost to Olympiacos, with Greek fans then showing them pictures off their phone of their London rivals to get in their heads. VAR managed to spend 5 minutes trying to work out if Jay Rodriguez had scored an offside goal this week. To be honest, 4 of those minutes were probably trying to work out if Jay Rodriguez was actually playing a Premier League game in 2023. And speaking of Burnley, they were involved in the Sean Dyche derby against Everton. Friend of the channel Viz predicted Burnley's former players to come back and haunt them, only for them to actually do it word for word.
Bar for bar!
And Sean Dyche is now out on the town celebrating. Meanwhile, Mark Goldbridge got a very unique request while playing against Norwich on FC24 career mode.
My nan supported Norwich and she's dead now. Can you let them score in her memory? Says Curtis. Mate, I've never been asked that before. It's very, very, very creative of you. You're basically doing a guilt trip. You know what I say to your dead gran? No. I'm ruthless. This is what I mean. You've got to be ruthless in competitive sport. I'll do that instead. Have that! Tell your gran about that!
This is top 10 Watch Mojo disrespectful moments. Here is Mark at the funeral, knowing that he slapped Norwich 7-1.
I nearly broke Nanny's leg.
Now, over in Germany, and we saw some of the greatest scenes the DFB Pokal has ever witnessed.
Arriving goal!
96-minute limb saw mid-table third-tier side Saarbrücken beat giants of the Bundesliga and German dominators Bayern Munich in the most dramatic of fashions. This honestly, and I don't mean this as like over-dramatic, is probably one of the biggest shocks the tournament has ever seen. And Joshua Kimmich was scarred leaving in his car after. Their number 8 was playing at centre-back. That doesn't even make sense. This is like Man City losing to Leyton Orient in the FA Cup. And fair play to Saarbrücken because they deserved something out of the game. Manuel Neuer was back in his home, questioning everything about himself. Meanwhile, Harry Kane was depressed on the bench. This guy thought that going Bayern was going to break his trophy curse. You know what it is as well? Saarbrücken bamboozled Harry Kane as well. He couldn't come off the bench. There's no way he can pronounce that name. Though not without the want of trying, as he tried to sneak onto the pitch late on as a 12th man. Meanwhile, Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting's agent is going to have a hard time trying to sell this one ahead of his next move to Barcelona.
From my point of view, I think it can be a little bit early, you know, as a people.
Bayern are at least doing Bayern things in the league though, slapping Darmstadt 8-0. That doesn't tell the whole story though, because this game was 0-0 at half-time before Bayern sat forward and then scored 7 in 25 minutes. There were even 3 red cards in the first half, including Joshua Kimmich, who was sent off in 4 minutes. This man went to play weekend league at home. Thomas Tuchel was watching Joshua bring 3 brain cells with him to the match from the touchline. Harry Kane grabbed a hat-trick. Jude Bellingham is the greatest player in the world. Even Nketiah is grabbing 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Euro 2024, it's coming home. And I mentioned Harry Kane because he is our first goal of the week this time around. And you know what's coming here. It was an absolutely sensational long-range strike from his own half, looping over Darmstadt's goalkeeper. On the topic of looping, and shout out Mazun Chapkan over in Turkey, down in the 2nd division for Muspor. This is a more delicate effort, it's fair to say. Not often we get chips in goal of the week. And finally, over in Uganda, shout out Eunice Sentamu with yet another special long-distance strike on the turn, and I'm pretty sure without even looking up. Now in France, and Kylian Mbappe scored a last-minute penalty to earn PSG a 3-2 win over Brest, shushing the fans after scoring it. That much of a dramatic celebration against Brest. You're really milking it there. I'm sorry, guys. They'll have had some serious explaining to do on the stage at the Ballon D'Or after this. I should have won. I slapped up that Brest. No, I mean, obviously, no. Not like that. I mean, as in, do you reckon he still wants to be in France at this point? Playing Troyes and Clermont foot? Not even feet, you know, just 1 foot. He's not even going to be on screen at this point without the Ligue 1 TV deal. Soon, the only Brest he'll be finding on TV will be on a very different website. At least there is some new PSG funding, though, with a Korean company called Paris Baguette sponsoring the club. Honestly, the jokes write themselves at this point. Meanwhile, in a regional French cup, and officials were caught live on stream rigging a cup draw, saying not to film things being moved around and, yeah, just giving the game away literally on camera. Lyon will be playing regional football soon if they're not careful, because that club is falling apart, with numerous accounts and examples of racism from fans that are having to be tackled by the club as we speak. And even more physical than that, their bus was attacked and coach injured when fans threw items through windows to protest the fact they're bottom of Ligue 1. Look, listen, the club has fallen apart through complacency, a change of ownership and backroom staff, and selling most of its talent without replacement. And I completely understand fans being frustrated with that. They deserve a lot better, but it's getting ruined now by a minority who think they can just do anything they like, including injuring their own head coach. Over in Spain, we've actually got to stop this man. He's had the same trim for 11 years. One young Real Sociedad fan offered Takefusa Kubo some popcorn this week from the bench, and in return, he got the Japanese youngster's shirt from the game. At the top of the table, and Girona are doing a Leicester, securing yet another victory late on to go top of the table. With heroes like Dovbik, Savio, and then more well-known names like Eric Garcia and Dali Blind, can these lot make history? I mean, surely not, right? There were some demolitions going on in the Copa del Rey this week, as Real Betis won 12-1. They were 10-0 up before conceding here, but I can't lie, I don't think the comeback was on. Meanwhile, Getafe also slapped 11 past their opponents. Over in Italy, and angry Inter ultras are targeting Romelu Lukaku when he returns to the club with Roma, selling 30,000 whistles to, quote, give him hell on the Belgians' return. Tammy Abraham's going to be confused when he thinks the referee's blown his whistle after 3 minutes, but it's just Rom trampolining a touch out for a throw. throw-in. Jose Mourinho will be back dancing on the touchline though to antagonise Inter fans. Honestly, I can't lie, I preferred the whistles at Chelsea's, truthfully. At Lazio, and they have an eagle that's a mascot at the club that flies about the gaff and greets their fans. Only this time, Olympia, said eagle, didn't listen to the sat-nav and parked up next to angry away Fiorentina fans, who responded by sticking their middle fingers up at a bird. Congratulations to Paulo Dybala and his partner who are getting married. Alvaro Morata was at the proposal but actually celebrated before she'd even said yes. This man went too early again. He's offside in real life. Meanwhile, shout out to Claudio Ranieri's Cagliari, who were 3-0 down in Serie A, only to come back and win 4-3 with goals in the 94th and 96th minute.
Come on.
It's been a difficult week for Cristiano Ronaldo. He's witnessed Lionel Messi win an 8th Ballon d'Or and received chants from Al Ettifaq fans reminding him of the Argentines' victory. Well, he'd get the last laugh in their Saudi Pro League match as he scored and celebrated in front of them with Sadio Mane. Though, to be honest, in all of that, he wasn't too pleased with the referee's performance, asking for him to be subbed off halfway through the game.
Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Mission failed.
And that concludes The Beautiful Game.
Now, San Marino are in direct contact with Ajax, and I bet you didn't think you'd hear that today. They tweeted asking if they wanted any help coming to the terms with the fact that they never won any games. Of course, Ajax were bottom of the Eredivisie at the time, and even though they're standing in solidarity with their former coach Erik ten Hag in losing everything, they did actually manage to win a game this week against Volendam. So clearly, San Marino have done the business. Tanguy Ndombele is involved in a row with his Galatasaray coach over wanting to eat a burger before a game. Things got very violent in the food hall, I'm not gonna lie. And Tanguy won't have been as keen on the salad that he's been forced to eat in the canteen after. There were ridiculous scenes in Croatia between Osijek and Istra, definitely pronouncing one of those wrong, where a corner is floated in and a member of the crowd whistles to confuse Istra defenders. They stop playing thinking it's the referee, only for Osijek to put the ball into the back of the net. Surely a goal like that has just never been scored, but it's a surprise, honestly. Basel, though, would take a goal like that at this point. They're bottom of the Swiss Pro League. Once giants of the division and 20-time champions, they're struggling for points, only on 5, and clearly struggling for goals, as their admin tweeted that there's no goal of the month because they've not scored any goals. Over in Canada, and Tristan Borges won Forge's 4th Canadian Premier League with a late goal directly from a corner. Absolute limbs over there. Meanwhile, Palmeiras fans are also pleased after their comeback victory against Botafogo, inspired by an incredible solo run from Endrick, and according to Botafogo's owner, a whole lot of match fixing as well.
This is corruption. This is a theft. Please find me, Edinaldo, but you need to resign tomorrow morning. This championship has become a joke. Nobody deserves this. These players for Palmeiras, they don't want to win this way. 5 games in a row. Gentlemen, you played a good game. It's not your fault, but this is fucking corruption.
Mate, try that interview in the Prem and you're getting a 26-year touchline ban. In Turkey, Adana Demirspor, Mario Balotelli and Mbaye Niang played rock, paper, scissors to decide who would take their next penalty. All smiles, and thankfully, Mbaye put the ball in the back of the net. Inter Miami star Robert Taylor dressed up as Lionel Messi's bodyguard for Halloween. Sensational outfit idea, but it will confuse the bodyguard when he sees himself too close to Messi. Shout out to K.I. Klaxvik, who are a firm favourite of the channel at this point. They won the Faroe Islands' first ever European game this week, beating Slovenian side Olympia in the Europa Conference League to make Faroese history. Things aren't going quite as well for Australian goalkeeper Andrew Redmayne with this absolute howler for Sydney FC.
Oh, Redmayne, goodness me! A free gift!
There's slices and then there's the entire cake, mate. Over in Mexico, though, and there's even more suspect stuff at play.
El zapatazo, Sousa protege. Se intentaba quedar con ella. La presión, acá viene el error, Chema! Un gol!
No, you cannot tell me that this guy, this defender, didn't think he was an attacker for 25 seconds.
This is corruption.
Why are you charging across your own goal like that? But there might genuinely be match fixing going on in Brazil, where one Internacional fan got a notification on his phone before the ball hit the back of the net. Now, closer to home and over at Crew Alexandra, one fan brought a banner saying born in Crew, live in Crew, die in Crew. I mean, that's probably one of the most depressing thoughts of all time, really. Portsmouth manager John Mousinho is on an incredible unbeaten record. John Mousinho.
I am Jose Mourinho.
One man who's not doing business, though, is Sheffield Wednesday's owner, who is probably one of the most deplorable owners in the entire country. He is expecting his own fans to save the club by paying £100 each to get them out of debt because he doesn't know how to run a football club properly. After sacking his former coach, Darren Moore, for expecting him to win the championship as a newly promoted club without any funding whatsoever, and then charging supporters criminal amounts of money for tickets, he's decided the next step is to not even be the owner anymore. Now, over in South Africa, and Kaiser Chiefs goalkeeper had a moment to forget here. And the goalkeeping howlers continue over at Central Coast Mariners in Australia, where the most simple of balls across, one of the most simple crosses you'll see, ends up like, I mean, come on, put your body behind the ball. At least you get to see the action though in Australia, unlike in the Indian 2nd Division, where the cameraman's battery has died midway through a game. I don't think I've ever seen this before. And staying in India at Namdari, I think we need to start differentiating like first names for the sings at the club. Ireland's women faced off against Albania this week, not in football, but in a light spot of swimming. In a penalty shootout in Costa Rica, and after shithousing a goalkeeper, chatting shit to him after scoring, this shot stopper wasn't too pleased. We've got a pair of own goals now, first of all coming from Saudi Arabia and at Al Ahly. Some better communication is probably needed here. But the second own goal comes from Thailand, and this is just pure skill. A back heel into a volley, beautifully executed. And now for some beautiful experimentation in the world of football.
Ja, is goed, is goed.
Now though it's time for Still 0-0, you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. I mentioned experimental football there a moment ago, and what better place to try things than in Sunday League? Well, with a ball bouncing around and sat on the floor, this is a spin and a skill move that I need to see in FIFA. The rest of the clip though, probably not. On to the weird stuff though now. In Tonga, and well done to Navutoka, who have won the Tonga Major League with a perfect season, scoring 14 wins out of 14. Their season isn't quite done yet. They've got to play a playoff semi-final and final if they want to win, but it's the first perfect season in any league across the world since the 80s. And even more crazy, they played across the season with two 62-year-olds in the squad. But finally, in some scary news, and Dutch striker Bas Dost collapsed this week in a game in the Eerste Divisie for NEC. That's the second tier of Dutch football. He's a 34-year-old that you might know for playing for Wolfsburg over in the Bundesliga. Unfortunately for him, he's been diagnosed with a heart condition after collapsing on the pitch. There was a lot of concern for him at the time. Thankfully, he is okay, but will probably be stepping away from football. Obviously, a massive shame that this might be the end of his footballing career, but at the age of 34, he's achieved a lot, and I'm just glad generally that he's all right. Maybe he can now take a step into coaching or punditry or whatever he wants to do. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you're new. You can also follow me on social media. It is at the official FNG over on Twitter, Insta and TikTok. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.